The following podcast is a production of the Podpire Network. Find and listen to our podcasts at thepodpirenetwork.com or wherever you enjoy your podcast. The Podpire Network, a family of inspired podcasts.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Enabling Motion, the podcast where we bring you the inspiring technology that keeps people moving. I'm Sibel Mufti, and I'm talking today about a mind-controlled bionic hand that allows individual finger control.
Hello, all you beauties, Marc here. Today I'm going to be talking about the use of compliant mechanisms in the insoles of shoes to help protect the feet of diabetic patients.
And I'm Owen, and I'll be talking about a project that's using the unique medium of prosthetics to create highly stylized wearable art pieces.
All right, guys, looking forward to it. We will be right back after this ad break, which will be used to pay for a print of the Mona Lisa. Hey everyone, Sibel here. So we're talking about that mind control prosthetic hand. Take a second to imagine a sci-fi movie and imagine a character with an artificial hand. Maybe it looks really sleek, shiny, and futuristic, or it looks really natural, indistinguishable from the character's biological body. Think of Will Smith in iRobot. I'm willing to bet you're imagining them using all their fingers to do something. Maybe they're grabbing something. Maybe they're even playing the piano. And while we've done amazing things with bionics, we're still missing that ingredient, the ability to control individual fingers. Even the most advanced devices on the market aren't able to provide that level of dexterity, which is why my topic today is just so awesome. Today I'm discussing an artificial upper limb that's combining peripheral nerve interface with sophisticated AI to create a mind-powered device with advanced dexterity. Now, in Enabling Motion, we've discussed various forms of machine interfaces, which is a term for the ways that users interact with the device. Generally, with neural interfaces used for directing prosthetic movements, we have three ways that we can acquire movement intention from the body. First, we can take readings directly from the brain, from a cap over the skull, which gives little data, or using implanted electrodes, which is a risky option involving invasive surgery and potential brain damage. Second, we can take electrical signals from muscles using EMG. This method can also incorporate implanted electrodes or less invasively on the surface of the skin. EMG signals tend to be less specific, though, and using them for controlling prosthetics often involves the user making unintuitive muscle contractions to generate the desired movements. And this can sometimes be patterns like squeeze twice to get the hand to close. So that can take quite a while to learn and train, maybe weeks to months. The third method of acquiring movement information from the body is to take readings from peripheral nerves. These are nerves that are in the limbs of the body. Or in other words, to read the movement information right before it's transmitted into the muscles. This technique, which involves surgically implanting microelectrodes directly into motor nerves, is pretty invasive and could potentially trigger a foreign body reaction. The benefit, though, is that the signal quality is insanely high and truly allows a natural thought to be the driving signal of the device. Marc, you've once explained this to me. Could you please give me a quick explanation about motor and sensory nerves again?
Yeah, right. So sensory neurons are going to be what you call afferent, and they are taking information from this periphery and going to the central nervous system, where motor neurons are going to be what you call efferent, and they're taking information from the central nervous system to our muscles. I remember this because efferent is going to effector organs. So it has the EF there. Effector organs being like muscles or organs in your viscera that need to carry out specific things.
Cool. So the motor nerves are primarily sending out signals. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. So this team is utilizing a form of AI called a recurrent neural network. All right, quick shout out to my cousin Zahir, who's a machine learning expert who helped me understand this paper because I really needed that help. So, the team is utilizing a form of AI called a recurrent neural network, which is excellent at building a correlation map between inputs and outputs. The system has 16 microelectrodes implanted into the ends of nerves feeding into the residual limb, looking at signals at 1 second moving windows. The signal waveforms, so that's literally the current coming out of the nerves, that waveform is being analyzed for 14 different types of features. For example, wavelength, and then correlated with an intended output based on the signal analysis relative to the correlation map built by the AI. So, some really impressive feats of this system is the dexterity of the artificial limb that's controlled by natural intuitive thought. The reaction time of the user is literally about a third of a second slower than intact biological limbs. And a user can start moving individual fingers within only a few hours of training, which is insane if we look at it relative to other EMG control devices or other bionic limbs that are on the market. The microelectrode technology as well opens up the possibility of potentially sending sensory information back into the body, such as touch or temperature, and opens up a completely new world for the amount of control and potentially feedback we get from prosthetic limbs. It's a very, very exciting bit of technology. And although they've only done it on 3 people so far, definitely looking at this very closely and tracking this lab's work.
Thanks for that, Sibel. That's so cool. So, imagine if you weren't able to feel any pain. Going through life without any negative internal or external feelings sounds pretty nice. And in some ways, you could almost see it as a kind of superpower. But not being able to feel does not mean that your body can't be damaged. And in fact, losing the ability to feel pain puts someone in extreme risk of serious injury. Pain systems in our bodies, when functioning properly, provide us with a way to avoid damage and a way to remove ourselves from harmful stimuli and situations. Without it, you run the risk of continuously exposing yourself to harm to the point of severely damaging tissue. Now, this is actually something that some diabetic patients have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. One of the many possible symptoms of diabetes is what is known as peripheral neuropathy. Peripheral meaning in our extremities and neuropathy meaning damage to one or more nerves. Now, in diabetes, our bodies lose the ability to properly deliver sugar into our cells. As our primary fuel source, disturbed sugar absorption causes a plethora of issues all over our bodies. One major problem is having chronically high blood pressure, which, among other things, can severely damage nerves in our periphery. Often experienced as numbness, tingling, and sensory loss, diabetic patients need to constantly monitor their skin for damage because they may not be able to feel minor cuts or scrapes. Something as small as a piece of gravel stuck in one's shoe can cause enough damage that if gone unnoticed can lead to major wounds or ulcers. If these wounds get infected, it puts you in serious risk because another effect of diabetes is reduced ability to fight off infection, which can lead to the permanent death of tissue. If infections get too serious, they can also spread deeper into the skin, reaching connective tissue and bone. In these extreme cases, amputation becomes necessary treatment. So, proactive treatment measures to avoid damage, especially in the feet, commonly include specialized footwear that offloads points of commonly high pressure made using cushioning and non-abrasive material. Custom shoe insoles and other orthotics are also often needed by diabetic patients, as another symptom can be muscle weakness. These orthotics can accomplish the offloading of the pressure points, but they don't guarantee reduced pressure points when walking in more dynamic terrain. Another more expensive solution is integrating sensors and actuators into shoes to monitor pressures acting on the foot. But a third technique, developed by a team at the Indian Institute of Science, utilized 3D printed compliant mechanisms to provide an adaptive insole that can relieve pressure points on the fly. A compliant mechanism is a mechanism that is designed to move easily under force and to transmit it using its flexible characteristics. The team's design consists of a series of arches that go under a soft insole, where the arches are all individual compliant mechanisms that will snap into an inverted position when the force threshold is met. This provides dynamic offloading of forces felt by the foot. And when the pressure is removed from the arch, it simply snaps back into its original position. I love this design because it's cost effective and adds a level of adaptability not seen in any other shoes. Check out the team's research linked in our bio to read more on their design process. And if you want to learn more about compliant mechanisms, I suggest a video by a YouTube creator, Veritasium. Does a really, really great job at teaching about these mechanisms. Tune in after these ads to hear more about the artistic side of prosthetics.
Hi, welcome back. After some harsh negotiations with Marc's 2-year-old niece, I think we're going to be able to afford a pretty close proximity to that Mona Lisa print. We've talked about the importance of cosmesis for people in the past, but today I'd like to talk about a project that's going in the opposite direction. The Alternative Limb Project was founded by Sophie de Oliveira Barata and aims to create highly stylized wearable art pieces. These art pieces explore themes of body image, modification, evolution, and transhumanism, whilst promoting positive conversations around disability and celebrating body diversity. Sophie collaborates with specialists in fields such as 3D modeling, electronics, and cutting-edge technology, and works in conjunction with in-house prosthetist Chris Parsons at Design Prosthetics. In fact, if you remember Danny Claude from the previous episode, she has also collaborated with Sophie on 3 different arms. Synchronized is an arm with a sensor that reads and records a person's pulse. And at a small acrylic layer in the wrist, it ticks in time to the person's heartbeat, even after they take it off, leaving an emotional connection where there is no physical one. Materialize, a prosthetic made for British fashion model Kelly Knox, half made to resemble Kelly's opposite arm, while the other half of the prosthetic is made up of sections of mixed materials which can be interchanged, allowing Kelly to be in control of how she builds her arm. Finally, one of my personal favorites for the Alternative Limb Project, the Vine Arm, made of 26 vertebral segments and is designed with a botanical, tentacle, flora, fauna aesthetic, giving off a very extraterrestrial feel. The arm is controlled with pressure sensors and at the feet, similarly to how the third thumb was controlled. In fact, I'd recommend checking out Danny Claude's Instagram at Danny_Claude, as it looks like they're currently working on a Vine Arm 2.0, which I'm extremely excited to see. We don't have time to talk about all of the arms or all the prosthetics as part of the Alternative Limb Project, so I had Marc and Sibel each pick out their favorites. Marc, what was your favorite pick?
Funny, but my favorite is actually the heartbeat.
Wow.
I'm a sucker for poetry, and that is very poetic and romantic to me. So I like that one.
Oh,
And
that's
Sibel,
awesome.
what was your favorite?
I love the gadget arm. The gadget arm is literally, so it's designed to be like the Swiss Army knife, and it looks like a vintage thing. They've got like leather, and it's stitched with various gadgets including like a secret compartment and a flashlight and laser and matches and a telescopic and a magnet, and it has a watch and compass and knives, and I think it's just so cool. It's like a steampunk version of what was that guy? Go Gadget.
Do Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
There it is.
Do.
There we do.
Yeah. I
If,
really love it.
yeah, if any of our listeners enjoyed us talking about these and want to check any of these out, or some ones that we hadn't had a chance to mention, I really recommend you go to their website, thealternativelimb.com. All right, now I guess it's time to pick our favorites. I'm hoping by making you two pick your favorites of my topic that it's going to sway you a little bit here.
Oh, psychological games. Psychological games.
I play to win.
Well,
That's why I'm here. To win.
to win. That's what it's about. No, not about
all-
the,
it's all-
the
that's all that this is
education
about.
or
It's not about the education. It's not.
It's about winning.
it's a contest
It's not.
through and
It's not
through.
about the
All right.
humanitarian aspect of things. It's to win.
I see how it is.
Every week, I'm here to win.
Every week I'm winning.
Well, Owen, not because of your attitude, but because of your content.
Wow.
I do choose yours as my favorite. A huge reason that I got into prosthetics and that I want to pursue this is because I would love to work with artists down the line and create just beautiful things that empower people. So
Oh man,
you
I
do,
could totally
you do
see
win,
doing that.
but not
I could totally
because
see.
of why you want to.
Mark, I could totally see you doing that. That would be wonderful. Yeah, take us along if you ever go down that road, man. Don't forget
Absolutely, yeah.
about us.
We'll
Don't
be in
forget about
touch.
us. Yeah, don't forget us little people. Yeah, I gotta say, personally, I absolutely love the Alternative Live Project. As you guys know, I did my own little life experience with like engineering and art back in the day, but I love the foot insoles because my one of my big passions when I was in Pakistan was low cost interventions, and the fact that they've come up with this 3D printed insole that is able to respond to changes dynamically in the forces being applied to a foot, especially after having my own grandmother who really had such a hard time with her feet when she had as a diabetic patient. It's so wonderful to see, and it's so adaptable because it's 3D printed and it's customizable, and it's a wonderful bit of innovation. So I have to say I go with that one. Owen, what about you?
I gotta
Other than your
say,
own.
I know. I gotta say, I tried so hard. I came out swinging, and I have to admit defeat because my favorite was also Marc's. You know that I am
Marc
a
is the
sucker
winner.
for anything that is 3D printed. Wow,
Yeah.
I had big talk, and I fell hard. I flew too close to the sun, and like
Icarus, is that you?
my wings have melted, and I am falling.
The real winners are the patients, though. That's the thing
The
that
real
matters.
winners are yes.
Yeah.
The real winners are the patients. The real winners
Thank
are the
you, guys.
listeners.
Yes, thank you everyone for listening. Message us on Instagram at Enabling Motion Pod if you have any thoughts about what you enjoyed today or any topics you'd like us to cover. Listen to us everywhere that podcasts are found. Thank you to the Podfire Network for supporting us and making this happen. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and we're looking forward to talking to you again. Take care.